Hi everyone, Brian McManus, Real Estate, and it's Brian speaking. It's week 32, and we're just going to have a wee chat about buyers and auctions. So there's been a wee bit in the market in the last 24, 48 hours about auctions and buyers not turning up to auctions, all those sorts of things. So I thought I'd clear the air, having been in the 87 crash and 91 and 2001 and etc., 2007 and 2020. It kind of feels, one auctioneer's come out and said it feels worse than 91. Well, it's not 91, I can tell you that right now. There are similarities, but it's not 91. It's closer to 87, 86, 87, moving from 86 into the 87 crash. So, and what we need to do as agents and processing the buyers and what the vendors have to do as well to listen to us as we move with the market. And properties will still sell at auction if we have everybody basically at the same level. Buyers not registering at the auction, I've experienced that just recently. I experienced it in 91, 87. But that just means that race, we just didn't get first. So in 91, 87, 91, 2001, expect sometimes to do multiple auctions to get both parties together. And what we're finding at the moment is that, okay, we'll talk about separate markets, hotels, motels, caravan parks. Books have to be profitable. Books have to be consistent. And you must be putting your cash through your books. So it's no use just telling me, our gross income's this, if it doesn't say that on the books. Our net profit is this, unless it says that. So that's that part. The resi side of the auctions, the agent has to be listening to the market. So there's no use going to, and we'll just use a broad, there's no use going to bringing a property to the market. Let's say it's a value is 1 million or 10 million, it doesn't really matter, and the buyers are at 800,000 or 8 million. You've got to get the vendor, you've got to feed that information back to the vendor. That's market price, because thus they're buying and selling on the same market, so it's kind of irrelevant, but that's where the market is. Your buyers, if they know the vendor's realistic, will register, bid and buy. They'll register, bid and buy. So I would say using bidding to start, and the laws out there are quite specific. You've got to be within 10% of basically of your reserve, it comes back to. So the vendor has to track with the buyer. The agent has to track with the buyer. The buyer is the market. So that's where the discrepancy is at the moment. And a recent report where 6 auctions had no registered bidders. It's not the market's fault. It's really probably the agent and the vendor not listening to the market. And that's the part that's a little bit difficult as we go through this transition. So where are the buyers at? Find out, keep probing the buyers. How much would you pay? How how much would you pay? How much would you pay? So that's the part I've gone back over all of those years I talked about, and we're reinstigating all those strategies and tactics we used to sell our properties at or before auction. Now, you may have to go to auction 2, 3, 4 times. That's what happened in 87, that's what happened in 91, to get that buyer. Or to even get the buyer. They may have come through the property, auction 1, and they were too embarrassed to say, well, look, at 10 million, it's only worth, I can only raise $7 million worth of debt on it, or $5 million worth of debt. I've got $2 million. And they were too embarrassed to tell the agent that. So the agent couldn't feed it back to the vendor. But eventually they do, and that's the market. So we can sell if the vendor wants to sell. There's your cash buyer. So long and short, go and also invest in marketing. So back in 86 when I started, we had 3 campaigns. This is for properties under 100,000. This is for properties, I never sold one above 70. So, and it was 1,500, 1,800 and 2,100 is how much they were spending back then. So they were spending 4% between sort of 3 and 4% of the value of the property on marketing. Apply that to today. You know, if anything, I've been taking properties to auction with not enough marketing. Remembering, jeepers, bloody ducks. Remembering, I'm spending a great deal of my money as well on marketing. So it costs. We had a cost analysis done by our accountant a few years ago. Each auction costs our agency about anywhere between $18,400 to $21,000. Just a standard auction. So that's one. A standard auction to us is one in a good position. Population 21,000 or above if it's a hotel, motel, caravan park, and generally on a main arterial route. So hotels, motel, caravan parks. In Resi, it is in the city, one of the cities. Probably medium to top end of the market. So there we have it. Buyers, please feed back to the agent what you can afford to pay, regardless of the agent or the vendor's expectation that you've come across, so that they can then feed that back to the vendor, and you may well be able to purchase the property. Don't be embarrassed if it's way below what the agent or the vendor's saying in the market at the moment. So there we have it. That's a quick fired response. Buyers, register and bid at your discretion. Don't be afraid of being below what the expectation is. Just go in and go, well, if it's 10 million and you're at 6 or 7, go in and go, right, I'll start at $6 million. I can only afford to go to 7. So be it. And if it's $1 million and you can only afford 700, you start at 6 and you just say, I can only afford on the books, in the position or the presentation. That's the situation. Hope that helps. This market will come right once the buyers and vendors get back in line with each other. It won't take long. Give us a call, Brian, 040-297-0217, Brian at brianmcmanusrealestate.com. It takes us 12 minutes to do our our listing presentation. It's not rocket science. You'll work out if you want to do it or not. We are really only dealing with vendors that have an exit strategy and aren't testing the market, because you're wasting your time, your money, my time, and my money. So if you have an exit strategy, give us a call. We'll hopefully be there within 24 hours and have you listed on the market within 24 hours or not. Have a wonderful week 32, and we'll talk to you soon.